I was like, damn. This movie, Independence Day.
Yeah, dude.
Stop being so scary. Right? So,
oh, dang.
That was like,
dang it.
That was a lot of it. I was like, oh, yeah, no, that's pretty spooky.
Well, hello and welcome to the Confused Breakfast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
Welcome to Earth.
It's hard to beat the ease of the modern era and streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your couch, but there was something truly special about heading to Blockbuster to rent some movies because cable TV has gone out due to satellites crashing into alien spaceships.
Yeah.
On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. My name is Mike Schulte, and joining me, as always, two dudes who can't wait to smoke some victory cigars after this podcast is over. Sean Pryor and AJ Vens, how the heck are you?
It truly is kind of the best feeling, to be honest.
To be done with a podcast?
Yeah, and to smoke a cigar.
I don't know. There's potential I might be becoming a cigar guy, guys.
Hey, man.
I'm not like a regular cigar guy, like an every week kind of guy, but I'm like, you know what? This calls for cigars.
Which just so happens to be every day.
Yeah.
AJ hangs out with Dusty Slay for one day, and now he's a cigar man.
Here I am. And then I'm bringing cigars to Sean's wedding, and man, I'm an idiot.
Well, boys, on today's episode, we will discuss the highest grossing film of 1996. In fact, it was the second film ever to cross the $500 million mark at the international box office. A movie that was nominated for 2 Oscars, winning one of them. A movie that holds the record for most miniature model work to appear in one film, the definition of a summer blockbuster. We're, of course, talking about 1996's Independence Day.
Well, dang it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with the Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
Well, if you are new to the Confused Breakfast, we're going to be reviewing Independence Day scene by scene with a modern eye, but we believe that in order to talk about it with a modern day, you got to look back on it with nostalgic eyes, pure MF and nostalgia. So let's start with AJ. Tell us the first time you saw this movie and what your original nostalgic rating was.
I was like, damn. This movie, Independence Day.
Yeah, dude.
Stop being so scary. Right? So,
oh, dang.
That was like,
dang it.
That was a lot of it. I was like, oh, yeah, no, that's pretty spooky. The aliens, man, everything about this movie, even when they're not on screen, it had this spooky element to me. Mm-hmm. Maybe I just saw it at the wrong time of the year, like whatever. But now I'll get past that a little bit. But it was kind of a scary movie for me. That being said, man, the action was so awesome. It was so exciting. I love a survivalist movie. I really do. I think that this is right up there, and I don't think anybody does it kind of this way anymore. And and maybe we'll figure something out along the way of this episode, but nothing really does it like this anymore. Jumps right in, takes you right through it, and it just gives you the step by step of how they're going to do this, and I love it. So I as a kid, I thought that this movie was scary but super cool. I will say that this was an 8.6.
8.6 for AJ. Sean, what about you?
I remember when this came out. I remember going up to Illinois to see my cousins, and this movie was just coming out. And I even remember the toys that happened. I had like one of the aliens spaceships, like the fighter TIE fighters, pretty much. They were going around. Yeah, man, I love this. This was all Will Smith for me. I was all about Will Smith back then. I don't know who wasn't in the 90s. I can't remember if I saw this in the theaters or not, but I remember I was super stoked about it. I went to Chicago and I remember like seeing the advertisements all over town and everything. And then when I eventually did see it, I loved it. I think it was one of my favorite movies of all time at that time, so I'm going to have to say at 9.5.
9.5. I'm much like AJ on this one. So I actually went to the theaters on opening night, Collins Road Theater in Cedar Rapids, July 2nd, 1996. The opening night was the same night that the movie took place on. I was just graduated 8th grade, going into my freshman year. Me and my buddy Molinex went. I was new to town, so I was like, oh, yeah, fine, I'll do whatever. I just met a couple friends. We went. I'm pretty sure my parents picked us up and dropped us off, and it was kind of like the first kind of teen thing you do there. I'll tell you what, I came out of that movie theater scared shitless that this was actually going to happen. I was like, I don't want aliens to invade Earth. I don't want those aliens to invade Earth. It's going to happen because there's still a couple days left till July 4th. They're still going to come. And I was pretty freaked out. That started my freaked outness with aliens. Like then you see signs, 5, 6, 7 years later, and you're like, nope, I don't want those aliens coming either. So I was very scared by this movie. But it was awesome, though. It was like, God, it's so cool. Everybody's talking about it. So I'm going to go a little lower, though. I'm still going to be high enough. I'm a 7.5. We got Bud Larsen, executive producer, on the show today. He said, I was 15 when this came out. I want to say a group of friends went to see this in the theater when it came out, and we were in absolute awe of the special effects. This was the early stages of Will Smith's blockbuster films. I would go on to buy this on VHS and then on DVD. I remember this is a movie with the most special effects at the time. It had over 3,000 effects. Nostalgic rating is a big one, a 9.5 for the Bud Larsen.
Nice.
So if you got to look at all of us, that's an 8.78 on our nostalgic meter. That's going to take it up pretty high. That's actually going to pop it into number 11 spot. That is just below Surf Ninjas, Mighty Ducks, and Dumb and Dumber, and just above The Rock, Shaun of the Dead, Three Ninjas is how we feel about that nostalgically. But that's the best part. We talk about it nostalgically, and now it's strictly modern day from here. We got to see how it holds up.
Yes.
So we're going to go to Sean to learn all the important details of the movie. Sean, what do you got, bro?
Independence Day was produced by Dean Devlin, written by Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich, cinematography by Carl Walker Lindenlaub. He also did Stargate by these guys as well. The Jackal and The Haunting remake.
I like
and
that one.
CB4, which I hope we cover someday. I love that movie. Music by David Arnold. He also did The Patriot and Die Another Day. Directed by Roland Emmerich, of course. He's the disaster movie king. Day After Tomorrow, Godzilla 2012, and the underrated Moonfall, which is fun. Cast. Are you guys sitting down?
I'm trying.
Yep.
Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, Mary McDonald, Judd Hirsch, Robert Loggia, Randy Quaid, Margaret Collin, James Rebhorn, Harvey Fierstein, Adam Baldwin, James Duvall, Lisa Jacob, Vivica A. Fox, Harry Connick Jr., Jessup Andrews, and Leyland Orser.
That's it.
Among so many others.
Gotcha.
Wowzers.
The idea for ID4 came about when writers Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin were in an interview for the film Stargate. When asked why doesn't Emmerich believe in aliens, he said, "Oh, I do." He elaborated, "Imagine waking up in the morning and to see a 10-mile wide spacecraft hovering over your neighborhood." Dean Devlin then said, "I think I have an idea for our next film." The duo immediately got to writing and expanded on the idea for their script, saying that in most alien invasion movies, the alien and their aircraft is usually hidden or hiding in the human body. What if they just went all out and showed up like an army did? When the script was complete, they sent it off to 20th Century Fox, and a day later, the film was greenlit. They're just like, "Yep, you got it." Will Smith was the first choice for the role of Stephen Hiller, and just in case he didn't accept the role, Eddie Murphy was a backup for him. The studio, however, wanted a white person for the role, suggesting Tom Cruise, Keanu Reeves, Johnny Depp, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and William Baldwin for the role. Just the run-of-the-mill. Who do we got? Can we just put a white person in there, please? Because Oh my
I
God.
don't know.
Please.
These walls are just a little dark. Can we just make them white?
Please let us do a
For
white
the
person.
love of all.
The title Independence Day was almost not the title for the film. The working title for the film was ID4, and in this famous speech Bill Pullman gives the writers, the famous speech Bill Pullman gives, the writers thought they should add the line, "Today we celebrate our Independence Day," to solidify the hope of eventually getting the rights to the title Independence Day from Warner Brothers. 2 weeks later, they had it. Other titles suggested for the film were Invasion, Sky on Fire, Doomsday, or The End of the World.
All very original.
Yeah,
Extremely creative.
Great job, guys.
We just want a milquetoast white person for this black role that you
Listen,
had in
if you
mind.
could just give us the white person, then we could call it Invasion.
Also, we have Invasions, like Sky on Fire, like 'cause, you know, because in the script it says like Sky is like literally on fire.
Alien Death Ray. Like, well, I don't know.
We could literally call it like, Aliens. Just get a white person.
Please.
Oh.
Fine.
This film holds the record of having the most miniature setups and creations for a single film, almost entirely shot in an airplane hangar. The special effects team built more than twice as many miniatures than they would any other production. They built alien spacecrafts, buildings, city streets, and landmarks, and even monuments to go along with the special effects. Independence Day was released on July 3rd, 1996, and on a budget of $75 million, the film made $817.4 million at the box office and spawned the sequel, ID4 Resurgence.
Did you ever see that one?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I heard
Sounds
it's-
like not many people
I heard
did.
it's not worth it, really.
I did.
What's the...
Let's wait 20 years for the sequel to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a legacy sequel, because we have no more ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
What's the Oscar that they won? Do you know?
No.
I'll look it up. All right.
You can tell them after I tell you this. I heard that Dean Devlin pitched the script to 20th Century Fox describing this movie as War of the Worlds meets Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Did it change? Because I don't see what you mean.
I think it might
It
just
just-
be like the strength of the characters. That's all I can see.
He's still lying.
It's just everyone's still coming off of like the awesomeness of Pulp Fiction, just like and just saying,
Just say it. Just
just
say Pulp
like,
Fiction.
dude, it's like
tell 'em.
Crocodile Dundee. Yeah, dude, like I'm telling you, this is basically Kangaroo Jack. It's Pulp Fiction. Like, what the fuck are you talking?
just say Pulp
Just say
Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. Oh,
Dude, Airheads is basically Encino Man in Pulp Fiction.
and Pulp Fiction.
It's got Steve Buscemi in it.
Greenlit.
All right.
That's how they did it, man.
find it?
It won for visual effects.
Yep,
of
figured.
course.
Miniatures.
Well, friends, we have a big deal. We always ask you how you can support us on this show because it means the world. A big thing you can do for us right now, we just announced a live podcast in Chicago, Illinois, at the Lincoln Lodge on July 17th. This show will eventually sell out, but we really want to push this. We want to make this a big deal. If we can sell this show out on July 17th in Chicago, by the way, we're doing Rookie of the Year.
Come on.
Oh,
Come on. It's going to be a freaking blast. Please tell all your Chicago friends, if you're in driving distance, if you feel like just getting away and taking a direct flight to Chicago, do it, because if we can do really well at this show, then we will come to a town near you. I can guarantee it.
Yeah. Come on out. If we see you, oh my lord, will it be a fucking great time.
Yes.
Please stop saying Lord.
I'm sorry.
Link in the description. Up next, we got to go to AJ. He does the research for us. We talk ratings, reviews, critics, and fans alike. What do you got, bro?
Eagle 3, Fox 2, the tomato meter.
Last week was way better.
Yeah, no. So is this movie, apparently. 68%.
Whoa.
Not a splat, but that's
Well,
68.
Wow.
We're coming up on about 200 movies now, and that's sneaking into the bottom 100 of any movie we've done. Per the critics, critics think this is the exact same movie as American Psycho, Dumb and Dumber, Clue, and Cliffhanger.
Well, I will tell you that the audiences liked it a bit more. This is at 75%. So a little discrepancy there. But IMDb is coming in at 7.0. Straight up. That is a movie.
16 movies now, boys, are a 7.0 on IMDb. It's as if people have no other idea what to do it, so they just go, I don't know, 7 sounds good.
I liked it. Would you watch it again? Yeah? 7.
That's 9% of the movies we've done have a 7.0 ranking on IMDb. Most notably, Bill and Ted, Uncle Buck, Cool Runnings, Happy Gilmore, Austin Powers, and many more.
Well,
I want to watch Bill and Ted again. Man.
Me too.
God damn, I just feel like it.
tell you what, USA Today, same as tomorrow. Mike Clark. Don't laugh at my jokes, Mike. God, 88 out of 100. A rousing state-of-the-art cartoon capped by an aerial combat climax that, to its credit, isn't anticlimactic.
Okay.
Why don't you just say it's like that? It was exciting, like what you couch it in like, oh no, it wasn't a negative.
Yeah, you're right.
Like I really liked it. Why don't you just say that?
Listen, this movie tries to portray that aliens are real. They're not. They're not.
Clearly, they're not.
They're not.
They're not.
I'm sitting here on July 5th, and none of this has happened.
Seriously.
David Sternett,
Oh, he's good.
Christian Science monitor.
Yeah.
He's monitoring the Christian and the science of this movie. The action is fast, furious, and loaded with explosive effects. But the theme is a regrettable return to the us against them paranoia that dominated much science fiction in the Cold War era. That was a 50 out of 100. He gave it a half.
Did they mention if God created aliens or if they're just something different?
No, he said that God definitely created aliens.
Okay.
And that he's...
Leviticus?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, they don't really look like God's image. It's weird.
If that's what God looks like, I got to be honest with you. It's going to be weird. It's going to be a weird meetup for the first time with him and the Pope. I don't know. Well,
I thought you looked different.
look, can I just get this out of the way?
Can I get this out of the way?
Look, you're
You
super
don't
nice
look like
and
the
everything,
white
but-
bearded Jesus that we've been talking
man,
about.
I don't know where we got that from, but I mean, I just didn't expect this.
And like every time you like talk to me in my head, I just pictured somebody else. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, I don't know where to look when I talk to you.
Someday we'll figure out what Christian Science means.
Don't worry, just it's okay. Just talk to me like you've always talked to me. Just look anywhere, you know?
I really can't.
I can't do it.
I'd rather go to hell.
This is weird. Alan Zucker gave this a 1 out of 10. This is a fan review, not so much of a fan review. Will Smith playing a toxic male overcompensating Yahoo. Thanks for calling him a Yahoo. July 3rd, 2023. He was prepping for this holiday. He was like, let's turn it on. Let's do it, guys. And Alan Zucker, 151, said, could have been a good movie until the scenes with Will Smith start getting more screen time.
If only he was a white guy. Why did they pick a white guy?
I mean, like, you know, it would have been better, Johnny Depp.
Oh.
You know?
The only thing I needed more of this were the stars and stripes and a white guy. That's what I needed.
Will Smith is the best part of this movie.
know.
Jesus.
I know. Oh. So Jeff Goldblum does a fantastic job. No, great.
Nope.
Let's praise the nerdy white guy. Okay.
No, don't.
As does the rest of the all-star cast. It's mostly white.
I didn't like the stripper lady.
Why she gotta be a stripper? I wish there was a way to just edit out the Will Smith scene.
Oh
What?
my God.
What are you talking about?
The tech is pretty awesome for the era. It is all done with models and real physics,
Ugh.
not computer stimulated physics. So things crash and burn in realistic ways. There were many end-of-the-world movies at the time, and it is a fun genre. But this one is way overhyped and only continues to be relevant because it takes place around the 4th of July holiday in the United States. 0 out of 11 people found that helpful.
Thank you very
I have
much.
faith in
I
humanity.
have faith.
Oh, jeez.
Make that 0 out of 14.
Yeah.
because we're adding to that.
A cluster of cheap, superficial cliches, 1 out of 10, said Costa Silvad in 2022. This is This movie is just an escapist fantasy from reality and very poorly written. The script is terrible, gathering several superficial cliches. A movie is terrible. The dialogues and situations there are laughable.
There are laughable.
So the script is bad, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Couldn't even write his own script. How about a? There's so many negative ones that were just really good. This is Kerrie and Trash. Ha 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 ha. It's awful. It's like a joke. Nothing more. It deserves 0 points. Poor story and poor act. What, you really think that point is more than one? Oh, my goodness. 4 people found that helpful. All right, guys, how about a good one? This is a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Low bridge. Woo. Yay. Ha. This is in 2024. This is Dave Maxted. Hope you're out there and listening. As someone who has been waiting my entire life for aliens to invade our planet and kick our inflated egos, it's gratifying to know after watching this film that the United States will once again save humanity from certain extinction. And while doing so, deliver some of the greatest one-liners in mankind's time on this fragile planet. Simply put, if you don't enjoy this film in some way, you should be ashamed of yourself. Pop the popcorn and lots of it. You'll need it. And if after this it wasn't enough high octane enough for you, then you can be assured director Roland Emmerich tried to end the world another 2 times.
Yeah, there you go.
And how? We've got some Discord happening. The Little Lebowski Urban Achievers guys. I do not want to leave them off. Let's go. We got a couple in here. Mike. Maybe I'll save one for you if you want it. Nick Mad.
Yeah, dude.
Nick Mad said, this movie served as my first theater-going experience and instantly managed to scare me as much as it made me laugh and fist pump to Bill Pullman's presidential speech.
That's special. Hell yeah.
Love that. Top 5 movie monologues, guys. The film encapsulates a sense of alien sci-fi terror, much like Signs and War of the Worlds. Unlike your average supernatural horror flick, the alien invasion premise inhabits an interesting sort of fear. Something so far out of the realm of reason, yet it so strangely feels possible given what we don't know about our own night sky. He went and said that nostalgically this is a 7.5. Porn name, Independent Play. Will somebody please punch the Secretary of Defense already? Peace. Maybe we'll get there.
You got to talk about Caleb K too. He says, I remember loving this movie. Truly, it was one of my all-time favorites. I'm ashamed to admit that on rewatch, I hated it. The president is weak and essentially lets the country get destroyed by aliens. Then he nukes Texas just because the Secretary of Defense was pushy with any thought to whether it will work or what the literal and figurative fallout will be. And he somehow gets all of this excused by one sort of rousing speech in an airfield. What? The Jeff Goldblum, Will Smith buddy dynamic works, sure, but their entire mission at the end of the movie makes no sense. How the hell did they upload a virus to an alien ship with an old Macintosh? He's absolutely right. He says, I feel terrible for writing this, but this is my first example of nostalgia totally coloring my opinion of the movie. 4 out of 10. Whoa. I know I said I hated it, but nostalgia prevents me from going lower than a 4.
Well, okay.
Wow.
All right.
Learn more there. If you want to get your stuff on the show, go to patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. Join the Little Lebowski Urban Achiever tier and make it happen.
Yeah. Join the party. Join the show. Right, guys?
Yeah, man.
All right.
My Lord.
Well, boys, do you mind if I get something off my chest?
Please.
In a little more than an hour, we will have completed the recording of the greatest podcast episode in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
Mankind. That word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interests of movies and nostalgia. Perhaps it's fate that today is the day before the 4th of July, and we will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but for our freedom as middle-aged white males to have a podcast where we just record our conversations.
Yeah.
We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win today, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight.
Yeah.
We will start the podcast we've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
We're going to live on. We're going to survive. We're going to podcast. Today we celebrate our Independence Day. Welcome to Earth. Woo!
Yeah.
He says what we've been thinking.
Yeah. I didn't vote for him.
Not my president.
Yeah, like a country like Russia's like, what? He's not our
I
president.
still hate that guy.
Whatever, Jesus. Scene 1. So on July 2nd, a giant ship moves over the moon
Foreign
and heads
policy.
towards Earth. It releases several smaller ships that begin to head towards Earth. We meet Russell, a retired combat pilot who's drunkenly crop dusting the wrong field. The president and his staff address the nation after the spaceships entered our atmosphere and positioned themselves above major worldwide cities. David Levinson arrives at his cable TV job and discovers a countdown being relayed across Earth's satellites. Realizing he must report the findings to the highest government authorities, he has his father Julius drive him to Washington, D.C.
All right, guys, we spent a bunch of money on this movie. We got it all filmed. We got it all good to go. We got it all wrapped up, and now we need
Great.
some title sequences, okay?
Okay.
We have $1 more $1 million.
Okay.
Let's have the text fly at the audience
Okay.
and do a zoo at them. Sound good?
Well, it's just not a lot of money for title sequences. I mean, that's pretty small budget.
That's what they're charging. I say we just kind of go for it.
Oh,
You
Jesus.
good with it?
I mean,
Let's see what they come up with at least. Like it's
yeah.
like imagine like you know
I guess so. If we can get away with it, we can get away with it.
like the Paramount Pictures.
Oh!
Yeah. Independence Day.
I don't know, man. This looks pretty reminiscent of Terminator 2.
I've never heard of it.
Well, all right.
Never
All
heard
right.
of that movie.
I don't mind this. I'm gonna say it right now. It certainly gets us in, and it's just like, hey, you know what? It's a fucking movie. Let's go.
Oh, what is that? You came to the theater
Yeah.
to see a
Sorry.
movie?
Oh, you got your
We got a
popcorn
movie.
and your pop?
Did you guys ever
Prepare to
see?
chomp it all up.
Did you guys see? Independence Day is going to be in 3D. No shit. Yeah. Yeah. And then they come out. It's like, so the opening credits was the only thing in 3D,
That's the
right?
only
That's
thing,
correct.
yeah.
That's
Got-
correct.
okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy on that. All right, good to know.
But honestly
extra
though,
for that.
like the shadow of that ship is really fucking cool. I got to be honest, like it is such a really cool cinematic touch of a way to show how ominous this
Shit's
thing
getting
is.
fucked up.
And we'll just just like, and even we'll get to it, but like people when it gets to Earth and people react to it, it only shows the shadow and people's reactions until it actually shows the ship. Like we get this on the moon, and then it kind of pans up to Earth, and then we see like the Star Wars kind of ship kind of go by. I just think that it's a really awesome touch and like foreboding touch to just be like, this is fucked up.
I'm a little torn on that, Sean, because I totally agree with you, but I also wonder, imagine this being totally different. Imagine that we don't get any of this like shadows on the moon. We don't get any of this stuff. We just get the NORAD station being like, we're picking up something weird. And then it's just this chatter of like, oh no, there's these big objects like heading toward us. We don't know if it's a meteor. We don't know anything. And then the first time that you actually see these ships or anything pertaining to them is when they bust through those clouds. And like, would that have been better? Like to not show any of this right away. Let us guess a little bit at what's going on.
I don't know. I just kind of disagree.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm asking a question.
No, that's fine. I just like that shadow, man. I just like that it's just a really cool visual way to show that these things are dwarfing cities.
Okay, what about you leave the shadows in, but you don't show the breakaway shots where the little spaceships are coming out?
Yeah,
That's sort of like Jaws.
I like
if
that.
If they would have shown Jaws a lot more,
Yes.
it wouldn't have been as good. Like, just show us the shadow until it fucking breaks free.
On this rewatch, I was like, oh, the shadow is so cool. Like
Yes.
I've just been fucking complaining about, or like touting, I guess. And then it shows Earth and then the ship. I'm like, ah. Like
See,
it
right.
would have been cool to see it when they see
Yes.
it, when our characters see
I agree.
I think that I think that there's a balance there, because seeing the ominous, the size, the magnitude of what that mothership really is, right? Being able to see that, and the breakaway shot, I think, is actually kind of important when the smaller ships break away from the mothership, because they look like small discs, like small, like almost what you almost think the fighter ships are, but then they tell you, and they start giving context around these ships. Yeah, there's over a dozen of these other ships, the smaller pieces that have broken out. Keep in mind, these smaller ships are over 15 miles wide in diameter.
Right.
And that was what tells you, holy shit, the little ships that we saw break away are 15 miles long. That means Manhattan, right? I asked Alicia, we were watching the movie, I said, how, because I didn't have my phone on me, and I was like, how long is Manhattan Island? And she looked it up. She said it's approximately 13 miles and some change, like long.
Yeah.
2 miles at its like widest point. And I said, that means in the center of Manhattan, or wherever the ship laid, it's bigger than Manhattan. And in the center of that city, it is pitch black.
Yeah.
Completely
Pitch black. There's none of this ominous light.
Isn't
and
the
all those
horizon
buildings,
like you can only see like 4 miles to the horizon on the ocean or something like that?
Something
Think
like
about
that.
that.
I mean,
fucked.
Think about the magnitude of these ships, and they are in completely overshadowing, literally, entire cities. Manhattan Island would be covered by this thing, and you would not have any extra light other than the street lights and whatever else. That's an insane thought.
Yeah.
It's
That
terrifying.
you look up and you just see that ship. That's it.
Well, imagine like even like the Phoenix lights or some shit. You know, like I know that was at night, but seeing those lights in the sky, being like, what the fuck is that? And like if it was daytime, like if it was a ship, let's say, and it was there, no one's ever seen anything like this in the fucking sky, man. You know, like I don't know. It is just like a really clever way to show. It's still like to this day, it's still shocking. It's still like, you know, imagine like in like when they came up with this idea, imagine walking outside your house and seeing something like this dwarf your city.
The Will Smith scene where he actually like walks out and sees it. You're like, yep, that's my reaction.
Correct. Yes.
But like even the terrifyingness of it's on so many different levels. It's the idea of it coming.
Yeah.
Then it's that I don't think this is what would really happen. Like the clouds and fire building up before you. I think you would just fucking see it probably, right? Like
Are you talking about
see
like the reentry stuff?
Yeah, like wouldn't you see like a 19-mile like wide spaceship in the sky? Like if you looked up, wouldn't you just be like, oh, there it is?
Yeah.
Like instead of the like plowing through cloud atmosphere and fire to like show itself. I'd love to know what the science behind that says, but I don't think that's how that works.
That would be
like I can see airplanes 30,000 feet in the sky. Why is this busting through clouds to get here? You know,
right. It kind of makes you ask the question, but then again, also we've never had anything like of this size come through our atmosphere, you know, in that way, and what it would do. I mean, to be completely honest, how does this not just like completely tear through and like rip holes in our ozone layer and just destroy what they're coming to seize? You know what I mean? That would be my thought.
We have the airlock from Spaceballs, and it like pulls up, and it's like, I'm just gonna plow through that because I can't fit through there.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna just force my way in on that one. No, I think that it's incredibly like ominous, and it's very on that level. It's a very scary thing, and I think they do a good job, especially people's reactions.
Yeah,
I think people's reactions are as big of a part of this as anything.
Like the visual representation, like you just said, and also the audio representation as well, where that guy's like playing like mini putt-putt in his office, and that pulsing of like on that speaker of like whatever they're emitting, like, you know, I don't even know what that is, but is it a transmission or whatever?
It's like a radio signal.
Yeah, and it's just like it's very
the
like
red light goes off. You're like, that's not good.
Yeah, well, even like I don't know, like the close up of that speaker that they're listening to that out of, like was like it looked like kind of what one of their ships, and I don't know. As a kid, I was just like, it creeped me the fuck out, all of it. Yeah.
what do you guys? So we've got Russell Case. We've got I can't think of his name. Cousin Eddie, basically.
Yeah, Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid. Thank you. Randy Quaid getting introduced here.
This whole thing, I had to really think about this. His character feels really forced in this entire movie. This is a scary alien invasion action movie that I'm creeped out at. That all we're seeing this, we're like, oh fuck, like this thing's gonna come out. Then cut to fucking Cousin Eddie going, "Hey Miguel, hey
down there."
Whoa! Like it. A lot of times, nothing in this movie makes sense when he's in there. It feels, and I don't know if this actually happened, it feels like he was added after the fact.
Oh, okay.
Like they had already scripted and they're like, well, we're going to need a little comedy though.
Yeah,
we're going to need Will Smith can't be the only man carrying the comedy in this.
Correct.
We need a white guy to carry the comedy as well, Yeah. Like it doesn't make much sense that he's in this movie. Did you hear about the alternate ending?
No, wait. No, I have not.
I'm going to say it right now. Apparently, the original ending of this was that they tell Russell that he's not allowed to fly because he's a drunk.
Oh, yes.
So he sneaks off, gets his propeller crop duster plane, puts a missile on it, and kamikazes into the thing.
Oh my gosh. No.
It just is like it doesn't work for me.
I think I kind of disagree in the way that like it in.
You mean the fact that he knows how to fly a fighter jet?
Well, any of them, Mike.
Yeah, exactly.
Any of them.
Yeah,
That's the end. My God.
Yeah, we just got to show these guys how to take off. It doesn't matter if they can land.
None of them are making it back.
That's fine.
Not locking on or like G-force shit or I buy it. It's fine. We'll get there. But with his character, Randy Quaid, they had to be represented somehow with like these people who are just like all the stories that you hear of like I've been abducted and everything, all those tabloids like we see in Men in Black or anything like that. Like you've seen those things, you've heard those stories. I think it had to be represented, and even the people that just like welcome the aliens, that are welcoming, and we'll get to them too. But I think that had to be represented. But I think they carry that through line throughout the movie well enough for me to be like, yes, I believe that guy is a hero, and maybe these are the aliens that did kidnap him.
We don't know. We don't even know if he was actually abducted.
We don't even know. But I like that a lot. I like that mystery, being like, well, there are aliens here. He said he was abducted by aliens.
If this drunk Russell, like if he had told me all his life he's been abducted by aliens, and I don't believe him because he's a fucking drunk, and then this happens and aliens actually show up, I'd still be like, I still don't believe you.
Well, that's what everybody else is doing. That's what everyone else is doing. And this is the part that it frustrates the hell out of me. I'm just going to talk about it now. Is because it's like everyone's making fun of him. Like, says he got abducted by aliens. What an idiot, right? Anyway, oh my God. Holy shit.
That thing's huge.
Fucking aliens are here.
Wow.
Yeah, those are the guys. I told you, those are the guys who they did experiments on me. Whatever. Whatever.
Why don't you have another drink, Russell?
Yeah, they probably did sexual things to you, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, with its tentacles, right?
Was it awesome?
Was it fun or
Did it feel good?
Well, here's the part that they don't show you when he's manipulating that Dr. Oaken. He's got him by the neck.
Yeah.
But people are like, oh, so he must be like controlling him with his neck and doing that stuff. No, there was another tentacle going up his ass.
Yeah, dude.
Just through the pants, up the ass, and just doing like
literally
and that's
puppeting.
It. Yeah, puppeting.
The one around the neck was just holding
Kermit
him
the
up.
Frog.
You're right, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, he's just like, I gotta hold him, and then there we go. That's what he's doing.
In the history of any movie podcast that has ever talked about Independence Day, no one has ever come up with that.
I'm telling you.
That's why you listen to
us.
us.
That's right.
No one's ever given you that mental image.
Just saying.
Bill Pullman as the president, he gets introduced by, I'm sleeping next to a beautiful young brunette. One, ew.
One,
That's his daughter.
Yeah.
Two, she's clearly a blonde. Just wanted to point that out. It's like, none of this makes sense, and this is weird. Why are you saying this to your wife? Also, Donnie's mom in this movie is super hot.
Donnie's mom?
Yeah, Donnie Darko.
Oh, duh.
Yeah.
This is only her second movie she's been in that we've done, which is kind of surprising.
We have a lot of people to go over, I imagine.
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
How about let's talk a little bit about Jeff Goldblum, Harvey Fierstein, that whole cable media crew. Jeff Goldblum literally, 1993 is a part of the highest selling movie of all time, Jurassic Park at that point. And then 3 years later, he's like, yeah, I guess I'll do that Alien movie. And then he's a part of the highest selling movie of all time. It's like, I don't know how I feel about Jeff Goldblum, but he was a can't miss apparently at this point.
I choose these roles because I think they're interesting, and I think these characters are interesting.
Do you like him in this?
I love him in this.
Okay.
I think he's my favorite in this movie. Yeah,
He's an incredibly grounded character in this, but do you guys want me to blow your mind?
Yeah, go please.
All right.
blow me.
Blow me, dude.
Here we go. So excited to blow you guys. In this role, and then I will expand on this a little bit. In this role of Jeff Goldblum, and then I started to think really hard. And I was like, this could be maybe any Jeff Goldblum role. This role, I could swap him out with Nick Cage and be completely fine with what is happening.
Enough to get out the candle?
Nope, because he wasn't in it.
Because he wasn't in it.
You're
But
right.
just
Is
think
Nick
about
Cage and
this.
Jeff Goldblum the same person?
Well, they're like they. I think that they're attracted, or I think that they're around. They fill the same necessary role, right? The same void in a movie. Because think about this, even in the beginning of like this conversation with his dad playing chess. Would you move already? It's like, oh my gosh, Dad, do you have any idea how long it takes those cups to decompose? I'm going to start decompose. Just replace John Voight over there too.
Yeah.
And you've got literally like think The Rock or think National Treasure Nick Cage.
Put Jeff Goldblum into those
and
roles?
you could even put him over into some of. I don't know if you could actually do it vice versa.
Okay, it's the
I
other
am
way
saying
around.
that Nick Cage could do
Nick
a lot
Cage
of roles.
can tone it down to play Jeff Goldblum
I think
roles.
I think he could do this, and I watched this thinking about his delivery on so many of Jeff Goldblum's lines, and the way he does things, like him interacting with Harvey Fierstein, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I would actually buy it 100%. And this is no slant towards Jeff Goldblum because I actually really love him in this movie. I'm just saying it kind of blew my mind to think about that.
I think that's extremely interesting. I've never thought about that before in my life, but you're so right. When
makes
Nick
sense.
Cage is in roles like this, like National Treasure, like you're talking about, with John Voight or whoever he's interacting with, that is this role. And I don't know. That's really cool. I've never thought about that. But I also think that like this, like the writing of this movie is fairly clever, to be honest, because they're introducing these characters one after another. You know, you get the president, you get Jeff Goldblum and his dad. We find out through dialogue that he's estranged from his wife, who maybe have a higher up job with the president, perhaps. Through his dad, you know, he's like, you're still in love with her, whatever. He's a conservationist. He's, you know, like kind of earth friendly guy with his how long does that take that to decompose, you know? Or like, and then like we get the setup of the cigar being like, oh, that's bad for you. But then he does it twice later in the movie. Like we get it all right here. We get these characters. This movie's being told, like this disaster movie based upon aliens is being told through characters that we are introduced with. And that's what I respect about this movie so much. And we'll get more of that as we go on. But I think these characters are really well established, and we see the events happen through them. I think that's how this movie should be told, and that's why this movie's lasted so long.
I agree.
I think it was a joke when this movie came out, the newscast saying, please do not fire your guns at the ships.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was a joke, but the more I thought about it, I was like, no, that's what we would do.
That's 100%.
Don't shoot shoot at the things. You may inadvertently cause an interstellar war.
I mean, like,
how do we know that's not what happened?
I don't care. to be told, like, I might shoot my guns at an alien spaceship. I tried shooting it at a tornado once, and it didn't work.
Didn't work out too good?
Yeah, no.
See, I'm just saying. I'm just natural disaster. I mean, it's not quite an act of God. I don't know. But I do like to think that, especially like think about all like the nomads that Russell and his family end up traveling around with too. You know, people in those like campers, and they end up just like coming all together, congregating. But then there's gonna be somebody in there who's got a gun, who's shooting that thing at them.
100%.
And you see like little like two.
Just the little
shield, just
the little
Yeah,
shield.
just like tiny, and they're just like, these people are fucking shooting at us. What the hell? These guys are crazy. I thought this was a peaceful planet. Well, I guess we can't coexist.
No, Zarin, just don't worry about them. That is just that.
Look, John, if you don't get, you better tell him then. You better tell him. I'm not telling him.
I'll go down and tell him. I'll just have to get the word from the big man.
I'm just saying, I'm not telling him.
Okay.
I'm not telling him or them or the big man.
So Will Smith in this movie.
Let's move on to scene 2.
Oh, this
He's
is
not
scene
been
2?
entered.
Wow.
U.S. Marine Captain Stephen Hiller is off duty when the ships arrive, and he's called back from his family to go to the Air Force Base. David and his father get a meeting with the president from his ex-wife, Constance Spano, just as the military's attempt to communicate with alien using a helicopter and is shot down. They all evacuate and head for Air Force One. Hiller's girlfriend, Jasmine, goes to her job at the strip club.
Will Smith, Stephen Hiller
Bill.
in this movie.
Hills.
I don't know, man. Like, what do we think? Like, it's just a classic Will Smith performance in the 90s. Like, he had this run of movies that we talked about in MIB that was like Wild West, Men in Black, this. What else? You know, like he's just.
I mean, all the Bad Boys movies, like leading up to this too. I mean, I think I think Will Smith at this point has just become quite a quintessential action hero.
Let's reiterate it. So Fresh Prince, 90 to 95, Bad Boys, 95, Independence Day, 96, Men in Black, 97, Enemy of the State, 98, I think Wild Wild West, 99.
Yeah.
This was, I think, the thing that really set him
All
over.
the while topping the music charts as well.
Oh, yeah.
Duh.
Like literally.
Get
like,
jiggy with it.
Exactly.
I mean,
like I remember
let's be real.
sitting in my bathtub as a kid playing with Star Wars toys and listening to Get Jiggy with It.
Duh.
You got to get jiggy with it.
That's
dude.
how I do it. I
That's
get
life.
jiggy with it with Star Wars toys in the bathtub.
It's hot.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Still do.
All right.
But no, like I don't understand. Like Roland Emmerich wanted Will Smith in this role as Stephen Hiller, and the studios were just like, no, we specifically want a white person. It just doesn't make any sense. Like this movie,
Black people don't fly planes.
What?
They're not in the military.
everyone knows they don't like to fly.
Oh.
They don't like to fly or swim or do anything like.
Well, hold on. He's
Well-
got a stripper girlfriend. Well, okay then.
We could
well-
be talked into it.
Okay.
Well, we don't want to see a white guy with a stripper girlfriend, so
And they initially wanted what's her name, his wife.
Vivica A. Fox.
No,
Jada was supposed
Jada.
to
They
do it,
initially wanted Jada,
which
but
they were not together at that point.
they weren't. And,
They're still not together, I don't think.
Well, not really.
Maybe things would have panned out better. Probably not.
Probably not. She still would have fucked his son's.
It's fine.
Friend.
Anyway.
No, I think he's great in this movie, and this is like literally where like I think I had my first initial love affair with like the character of Will Smith movies. You know, like it's just like this is him, and like as a formative child watching these movies, this was all that I wanted. I wanted Will Smith saying funny lines to a fucking action scene that was going on.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You nailed it. It's exactly what it is, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And this is just that confident Will Smith of just like he's funny, he's confident, he's good at his job, he's a good family man,
Improvising
kind of a thing. Yeah,
as
he's
well.
improvising.
Like a little shake and they run in, you know.
Yeah.
Like the earthquake thing.
Stepping on the toy on the way out to get the
really
newspaper.
funny, yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I will tell the character of Hiller's here though that like, you know, you're pretty great. You're doing some good things. You're flying the F-18. Like you got called in your base. That's great. But I don't think that any woman wants a wedding ring with dolphins on it.
Yeah, this is kind of a
I
weird.
don't think that that's something that a woman wants.
That was
Bit tchotchke.
Yeah.
Kind of. You got that at, like a
Spencer Gifts.
Well, even like an island where
Yeah.
outside of the Spencer Gifts,
you got,
in the mall.
You got off the cruise ship,
Yeah.
and there's a little place right there.
Yeah.
And they're like, get a diamond in the shape of a
I
dolphin.
got dolphins.
She's got a
Wow.
thing for dolphins. You know?
You know, and she'll think that's really nice. Yeah, well, she won't in 3 years. Okay, so get a different band. No, but like I agree, dude. I'm so glad you brought that up because I'm just like, I don't think that's gonna be a.
I don't think that's the one she wants.
No.
Did you ask her?
I know she's got earrings like that, but
Yeah.
no, that's different from a wedding ring.
Like she says she liked dolphins one time.
What?
And he's just like,
It's her
"Yep."
identity.
He's like, he's latched onto it ever since.
So he
that
bought
one
those
time.
He's bought those dolphin earrings that she was wearing.
And
It's
like,
his,
that's
it's his
fine.
default. You know what I mean? It's like it's his default. It's like she's mad at me again. I gotta go find something with fucking dolphins on it.
Like literally, early on in me and my wife's relationship, she liked sloths. So all I got her was sloth shit, and that's like what you get her for her birthday, but not when you pop the fucking question, man.
Included with the "Will you marry me?" It's a card with dolphins on it that says "You're my porpoise in life."
And every dollar made off this ring goes to help conservation for
A
dolphins.
portion of your purchase goes to it. You can name a dolphin in the Great Barrier Reef.
Hiller's is pretty dope, but I think he's got a lot to learn about women.
He's got a lot to learn. I mean,
He's 1 foot in and 1 foot out
Yeah.
in this relationship.
I'll tell you who does know a lot about women though is the kid that's in the gypsy camp who tells Lisa Jacob that you don't want to die a virgin, right?
Where?
Like-
What 10 things I hate about you.
Yeah, that's my dude.
Yeah.
Like I had a huge
Is it-
crush. I had a huge crush on Lisa
him?
Jacob.
On him.
Oh, okay.
And him. He's a beautiful man.
I was trying so hard to think where I recognized
She's in Miss
him from.
Doubtfire, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
she's been Lisa Jacobs been twice. She was in Mrs. Doubtfire. She's also in Matinee that we've talked about a lot. I had a huge crush on her. She was actually just on Lawrence Brothers' Brotherly Love podcast.
Oh, nice.
They did a Mrs. Doubtfire kind of reunion kind of
Nice.
thing.
Oh, cool.
She's awesome. She's doing great. Kind of got out of acting a little bit, but doing a bunch of stuff like yoga, I think. And
Yeah, huge crush on her. In this
yeah,
movie.
and this kid's right. Like, you know, these alien spaceships just came in. Like, you know, we're gonna have to do this.
Well, and you don't want to be the one that they're like, oh, like, we should experiment on her and then Russell Case again, and then you don't want to be in those like experimentation
No, you don't want
pods.
to.
You know, as the virgin next to Russell Case, okay? You don't want that on your conscience.
As we
you
see
just
in
don't.
Mars Attacks, they cut off your head and put it on a dog.
That's right.
And that's what
They're like, let's see if we can make this work.
Yeah.
Why not?
This is kind of funny though. I wondered what your thoughts were on this. Trying to be critical. David, you know, he gets to the White House. He gets his invitation in. He gets to talk to the president. He explains to them what's happening, and he actually like convinces them that, you know what, we need to evacuate. This countdown's going to be a thing. And the president goes, I think you're right. And he says, order the evacuation. As he says, order the evacuation, a guy starts to get on the phone. And then that is when they all pause to watch the helicopter get attacked.
Yeah.
Which is when they're like, oh shit, we really got to go. Did David actually do anything? They decided
This was
to
already in
leave.
place.
Like,
They
he
decided
was-
when the helicopter blew up, they're like, we got to get out of here. So
Man,
did
that's a good
David
point.
did him going to the White House accomplish anything?
I mean, really, not really, I think.
Yes.
But like he was trying to get a hold of them. He had to show up in person to even say anything.
Yes.
Right? He was trying to get a hold of them to say all this information that he knew. But
But if he did,
classic white
Yeah.
White House people not
House.
listening to the regular man.
Fucking classic Caucasian house. Here we
Yeah.
are. Man, oh man.
Not listening to the people or giving any
Yeah.
of the people what they want or what they deserve.
God forbid we listen to the Lil Man. You know what I mean?
Playing chess in New
He's
York
just
City.
Yeah. Cigars and
but you know what I mean? Like if he didn't actually get into the White House, they still would have evacuated after that helicopter.
After
Well,
that
and like
helicopter
even
just-
before he showed up, he just like stay in your homes. This is the best case scenario
Yeah.
right now, and that was the worst case scenario.
The
Obviously, he didn't know, but just saying.
We'll evacuate ourselves, but too late for you guys.
We'll when we figure out we're gone, but we'll tell you as soon as we're gone and safe. thank you very much, American people who pay our taxes and pay our wage.
Here's a great point on this, actually, and I didn't realize a lot of this dialogue from the president until rewatch, right? I realized that they said, "Hey, we're seeing this now. We can't take any risks. Obviously, there's an alien life form that is now just being pretty much discovered, known to us, if you will. That is, but we need to get you to a safe location. You, the cabinet, and the vice president. We need to get everybody there." And he's like, "I'm not leaving. Get the vice president, the joint chiefs, and the cabinet or whoever, and get them to the safe place. I'm staying because I don't want to cause panic." And then it's like, if somebody saw that on the news, they're like, "Oh, this president's staying, but everybody else is fucking leaving. I'm still fucking panicking." Number one. Number two is the idea of, they would also say, like, that guy is either like a brave or an absolute idiot, which they actually mention on the news.
Yeah.
And then from there, they also talk about, like, he was supposed to go a long time ago. It's actually very, very stupid to just send everybody else like a contingency plan, and the president of the United States doesn't actually do anything. There would be no world that I think that they would actually let that happen.
You just said the president of the United States doesn't actually do anything.
Wait, what'd you just say?
You just said the president of the United States doesn't actually do anything.
That's a good point. They actually just let him stay there. So it's like, all right, yeah, I kind of see what we can get away with this. Okay,
We're fucked. We're fucked.
Yeah.
But that's the point, though. It's like that was a silly move regardless. They tried to move him. They didn't. He didn't move, and then finally they are moving, and it caused a lot of drama that was unnecessary. Him
Sure.
also not addressing the people, which he again brings up later. While he's like on Air Force One, like a lot of people, it could have been avoided, and he didn't do anything about it.
This conflict with James Rebhorn, who is his Secretary of
Defense.
Defense, yeah. I guess I like that. I like that you need to have kind of like this, like you're the reason why I made all these bad decisions because you influenced me, because it's never my fault because I'm the president of the United States.
Well, duh.
I guess I don't get it, but I get it in this aspect. But James Rebhorn, blank check.
I was just gonna say, would you shut up, Preston's dad? But
I think it's a 90s cliche that you have to have someone that's close to the president that is just overly pushing the use of like nuclear weapons.
Yeah,
like that's just a cliche that has to be in
which
movies.
is not further from the truth.
Well, we don't know
whatsoever.
Man.
Well. But the cliche, I'm glad that the cliche stopped at it could be anybody, because otherwise, in any other movie, it would have been Robert Loggia.
Of course.
The general.
Of
The
course.
4-star general.
He's like, "Sir, these nukes have been gathering dust. We really want to try them out.
They're about to expire. We don't want them to. It's like it's not milk, bro. Like
Might be.
You never know. They're reaching a half-life. No, they're not. No, you're right, though. I just think it could have very easily been like a military presence, and it wasn't. It was more Secretary of Defense. I'm glad it was that. And that guy Rebhorn plays this character very well, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I like him a lot.
yeah.
But even in a world where there's aliens showing up and dwarfing these cities, people still got to work. People still going to work.
Dude.
People still trying to make their 9-to-5s. And
I mean, listen, your boss is going to be like, "You still got to come to work."
Vivica A. Fox is still going to work. People are still showing up to strip clubs when there's alien presence right up above them.
Dude.
Did you hear what she said, though, too? She's like, I just came in to grab my check, and they roped her into working. Hey, Mercedes didn't show up for her mid-shift. Will you go on? And that's what they said.
Well,
I
so you
guess
must
I
have
have a
watched
dance
like an
prepared.
extended version then.
Really?
Because I kept reading some stuff about people would mention a scene where I'm like, I've never seen that.
If there's an extended version of a 2.5-hour movie,
No, there is. It's
go
like
fuck
there's
yourself.
like 8 extra minutes. Where the version that I know,
and we needed this 8 extra
no,
minutes.
tell me what happened. Tell me what happened. Where did she actually talk to her boss?
No, it's when she breaks. She's coming into the room,
Okay.
and to talk to her friend and say, "Hey, I don't want you to go up there." It's right before that. She's walking in. It's
Did they show her son and the dog?
in the strip club.
Yes.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, because there is a scene that she says,
Yeah.
I came to get my check and got talked into working, and then they show her son Boomer and the dog like in the manager's office hanging out, and the boss yells at her for bringing the kid and the dog to work.
See I didn't see that version.
Okay, weird.
Then.
Then I don't know. Maybe I didn't
says
hear
this-
that scene.
She's saying it while she's like walking in. It is not a direct like dialogue scene. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
There's no close up. She's passing through. She's far away from
Okay.
the camera, and she's like, "I can't believe like I came in for my check and I get talked into work, and of course this would happen." Like, blah
So
blah
she
blah.
definitely has her son and her dog with her at a
That's
strip club.
crazy.
Because even like we just had a solar eclipse like a few months ago or whatever, and even then I'm still working, and I feel like we shouldn't be working.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, there's this phenomenon happening up in the sky right now. Like everyone's got special glasses to see it, and I bought them. Or my wife's mom bought them for us or whatever. And I'm the only one at work who has them. And still, I'm just like, how are we working today while this is going on? You know,
Only
Dude,
and
20
like there's
minutes or something like
aliens
that.
in the sky.
It's only 20 minutes, bro.
That is like one. That's one of the things. I think it's a little later on, but if I don't say it now, I'll just fucking forget it. There is a scene when like I think it's in New York. There is some guy, or maybe it's Washington D.C. There's some guy who is actually like still in one of these buildings filing papers, and it briefly shows him. And it's just like, what the to be that poor motherfucker who just gets absolutely annihilated, who's just like, you shouldn't even be here today. I was just like, oh my God.
Dude, like, seriously though, I still feel like this movie kind of nails some semblance of reality because
Yeah.
even in like the 9/11 attacks, not to bring that up in this episode, but like there were still people, like there's audio recordings of people on their phone, like receptionists being like, my boss told me I need to stay in this building. Like you
Jesus
realize
Christ.
it's on fire, right? Like they're talking to 911.
Yeah.
Like you realize it's on fire. Like, no, well, I needed to get this done because my boss is like really cramming down my fucking spine right now. Like
Right.
I need to get the, like
It's obnoxious.
it is.
Like the moment that there was any sort of public knowledge of aliens being a thing,
Done.
it's like, yeah, everybody get out of here. So we'll pick this up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's
see what happens.
Well, you
Call
know,
it a day.
I always love to try to see if there's an everything wrong with like a YouTube video about the movie we do. Have you ever seen those? Everything
Cinema
wrong
Sins?
with? It's Cinema Sins, yeah. A huge fan of that guy and what he does. I, of course, watched this one, and I have to give him credit for this. He nails it. He's like, Jasmine goes up to the Say by the Bell college years lady that goes to the rooftop. She goes, promise me you won't go up there. I have a bad feeling about this. It's like, you have a bad feeling about 15-mile wide spaceships hanging over the city. You've got a bad feeling about that.
hanging over every major city. And
I can't believe you have a
human
bad feeling about
hub
this.
lingering ominously over them. We're talking about L.A., New York, Washington, Rome, Moscow.
Actually, did you
Where
see?
else could we?
Did you see that when the news map shows where the ships are?
Yeah.
It says London, Moscow,
London,
Rome,
Rome.
and then it says Germany. It's like, come on,
All right.
come on,
Frankfurter?
man.
I don't know.
Nobody knows towns in Germany.
Hell yeah, down there in Berlin.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all they do is drink beer over there.
But yeah, I think we do see later that there was one in Chicago, but they didn't mention that on the thing because, you know, Confused Breakfast will be in Chicago here soon, and we'll be performing at the Lincoln Lodge, which is going to be a really good show. We're going to be breaking down Rookie of the Year live.
Similar to Independence Day, Rookie of the Year,
Just
man.
a little bit, yeah.
Yep.
We'll talk about the Cubs to you. It's going to be fun. Drink some Malort, and we'll have a good time. But, you know.
Scene three. The saucers attack the respective cities simultaneously by discharging their primary weapon. In D.C., Air Force One narrowly escapes the inferno. First Lady Marilyn's helicopter crashes. Jasmine survives in a maintenance room in a tunnel. The next day, Hiller's squadron is called up to join dozens of others to launch a counterattack against the saucer over L.A. Due to shielding, they're unsuccessful and all planes are shot down except Hiller's. He takes down an alien plane in the process. He drags the alien across the desert, is picked up by Russell's caravan, and they head to Area 51.
I mean, it does really speak to kind of like the American culture at this time, where people would rather be taken by be abducted by aliens than stay on planet Earth.
Yep.
Like they're all just on top of the building of like that. What's that building in L.A.?
It doesn't matter.
The one in San Andreas.
The one in that one.
Time.
Yeah.
That's the one.
They're just there and be like, please take me. I just feel bad.
Hey, natural selection. Do not feel bad about these people. They are fucking idiots.
Yeah, I guess.
And they deserve it.
I feel
maybe there's free healthcare wherever they're at.
I feel terrible again about the guy who's just working in the office, who's trying to. He's working a little bit late, so that way it's going to be a little bit easier tomorrow when he has to come in, and maybe he can get an extra half hour so he doesn't have to show up as early. And he's just working. He's trying to file things away, and then he's just engulfed in flimes and disaster.
It's over quick.
It's at least over quick for that gentleman. I like to think that the alien death ray is kind of a reverse kind of a thing, like Nuke, if you will, where it's like if you're at the dead center, it's the worst of the worst because the people who are directly under it, they're the ones who deserve it. I'm going to be honest with you.
Cool.
Those are the ones who deserve it the most because you're that ignorant. You're up there dancing around like it's a party. And let's be honest, I'm looking around on that rooftop and I'm thinking, I don't want to hang out with any of these people. Except for maybe the one who's in the actual alien suit. The alien mascot suit. That's pretty creative.
That's pretty creative.
Yeah. That's about it, though.
This is like one of the first global kind of devastation scenes in movies that I can ever remember where it really shows some massive destruction from something, and it was terribly frightening to me.
It is. And I am a big proponent of this, the lack of music, in this scene to make you feel how you should feel is like, no, we're going to let you feel how this, however this makes you feel is what you feel, and to see monuments, I guess, of cities with these buildings like the Empire State and whatever building that is in LA just get literally leveled and destroyed in a fireball coming at people. And even then, speaking of 9/11, it's just still shocking to see like a wall of fire and ash come towards people. But I do like the way they achieved a lot of this. Is like they did leave a lot of this in camera, and they did leave more of the CGI to other things rather than this destruction stuff. It was a lot of practical stuff. They especially for the fire moving through the city streets, they tilted the models that they built of the city streets up, and then they filmed it with the camera like this.
Yeah. So the flame would go upwards.
Down, so the flame would come upwards towards the camera, and they would have these cars just kind of like on strings and like flip them up and stuff like that.
That's super creative.
It looks really good. What do you guys think about the practical stuff?
All the fire, and even starting when they're entering the atmosphere. Like with that, what do they call it? It's like the AWAC. It's like the radar plane, right? Even with that, like when that stuff happens, from there to the city streets, it's phenomenal. And it's the fact that it's so terrifying is why I can say it's phenomenal because it's terrifying.
You see a lot more cracks and flaws in it now. Than when I was sitting in a theater at age 14 just going, no, I don't want to see this. Like, it was terrifying back then. They're a little bit more, especially you'll get to some more later on where you're like, yeah. But like overall, this is still pretty good.
More of like the plate scenes where they shot like a regular kind of, they shot like cars right here, but then like the foreground is their CGI effect kind of put on top of it. It's a little dated, but like, I really think that a lot of the practical shit and a lot of the miniatures especially are just outstanding. And it's just like, why don't we do this anymore?
It's kind of sad that we don't. I think a lot of the miniatures just being engulfed in flames, essentially, like a lot of that, I think they use it a lot, like, and they do a lot of like back-to-back shots of this stuff too, and like, I don't know, I like to say I think it's really good. I can't get out the one image I can never get out of my head though, guys, is when the helicopter is around and it's like, hey, you need to vacate off of this building, and it's her stripper friend going, no.
I don't like her at all.
It's like, you're kind of the worst, and that's
she was the worst in Saved by the Bell the college years too.
Is that
she
right?
was one of their roommates, and she was always the worst in there. So it makes sense that she was the worst in this.
We're rebels. We want to. Yeah, we're having fun.
Free love.
Free love and shit. Yeah. Is this Woodstock?
Yeah, rock and roll, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, where's Jimmy,
Jimmy!
dude? Bring Elvis back, alien.
Yeah.
Check out my tits.
Consider me a Grateful Dead. Woo!
Speaking of tits, though, do we got a
Tits.
porn parody name for this movie? Have you thought about that one at all? This was a little tougher. I mean, you got some obvious ones like Independence Lay or even Independence Gay. Like you could do that.
Yeah.
The one that I thought of that it might take the most like twisting a little bit, but it might work the coolest is how about In Rear Entrance Day?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
In Rear Entrance Day.
Is that your birthday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna take
Where
this.
you get to...
Go ahead.
No, I was
Okay.
waiting for Sean.
I'm gonna take this in I guess more of a 2024 aspect and do like some more modern day lingo. It's like in the pants bay.
Oh. In the pants bay.
B-A-E.
Comma Bay?
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
No, in the pants bay. Like, yeah. No,
I'm in the pants bay.
yeah.
Yeah,
So comma bay.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think I have one, guys.
That was a little harder.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
Okay, well then speaking of other things that are not believable, how about
Where does Hawk Tua fit in this?
no, that's over by now.
Independent
This will come out in a
Day.
couple weeks and no one will remember.
No one will
No,
remember.
how-
Give her 15 minutes of fame.
They are over. The thing that I cannot get past though on modern day rewatch, you can't just gloss over this. The fact that Jasmine, the dog, and the son survive.
Yeah.
Do you see how bad it is when they actually come out of the
When
tunnel?
they crawl out.
They didn't even try.
They didn't even
They
crawl
didn't
out
even
of anywhere.
try. No. They just like it was like a sewer pipe that they crawled out
Yeah.
of. They did not even try. In fact, when she opens the service door,
Yeah.
and behind her is wide open.
It's wide open.
Wide open rubble.
Why are you climbing through here? Just go around. Like,
That's true. It's the only trope that I don't like in destruction movies is that the important people survive. The people
These are our characters.
these are our characters. They gotta survive.
and the dog, obviously.
Well, yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah,
but
that
that
was
dog
close.
survived.
It was close to. We were not covering this movie.
Boomer.
Yeah.
The boomer flies through the air and then becomes skeleton and ash.
Right.
It's like, nope, not doing this movie.
The way you
And then
described
gets
that's pretty
obliterated
fucking
by
awesome.
another motorcycle. But yeah.
Even the guy, the kid from Little Rascals, is like one of the cutest kids
He's pretty
on
awesome.
Earth. Like, I want to see him survive,
I know.
and we have to.
He's gonna go on to big things.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
hopefully.
Yep.
Well, Resurgence, yeah, I guess.
Have you
Yeah.
seen Resurgence?
I have.
Oh, great.
We'll talk about it later.
How about
Is
we
it the
don't
same
talk about it?
actor?
You're right. I think it is.
Really?
I think it is, but I don't know. Guys, I don't think we should take time to talk about
Okay,
Nope.
Michael
Nope.
Monroe's in it. That's all we could say.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I could probably watch it.
it. I mean, Bill Pullman makes a return on it, and that's good, but
Yeah.
it's just like, okay.
There's another problem I had with this. How many people have been lost now? Like let's call it 10 major cities in the entire world have been completely vaporized.
Yeah.
Right.
We've probably lost 100 million people on Earth at this
Around
point.
there, yeah.
Right.
And Will Smith and his fighter pilot buddies all have family that are probably dead. That they're about ready to go on the worst mission of their entire lives, unknown. And
We're talking Masters of the Air level,
Yes.
just beyond like type mission.
and they're fucking laughing and joking. Harry Connick Jr. is probably my most punchable face in this movie.
Is that right?
I think he might be the worst character in this movie. He does not fit in whatsoever. His job here is to literally tell jokes that aren't funny during a global devastation movie.
He is so cavalier and Top Gun about all this that it's shocking. He's literally like, he just watched Top Gun. He's like, no, dude, this is where we're at. Like
Remember-
we go fight the Russians. Like these aren't Russians. We don't
Yeah.
know what these are, man.
Yeah, all our families are dead.
Yeah.
And by the way, remember we always do our thing before we get on the plane. We like high five and like
we
do
have cigars. Yeah, hell yeah,
Kick
man.
tires, light the fires, Big Daddy.
Yeah, babe.
Come on, Big Daddy.
All right. Yeah, I do like Jasmine. Just so you know,
I like her.
Well,
She's hot.
I thought you were getting rid of her so we could hang out.
Yeah, you know.
that is kind of
Wait, like, do we get to hang out as much, or like, or what? This is a dolphin ring.
This is hideous.
I totally understand where you're coming from. At the same point, I like it because, you know, yeah, I don't know. I'm torn on his character. I will be honest. There are parts of it that I do like. As the good Reverend would say, no, that's not what your country, whatever he says.
I like him.
Yeah.
And I liked him when this movie was like first came out, but upon rewatch, I'm just kind of like, this doesn't fit. Kind of like Russell doesn't fit into this movie. It's just weird. Like, come on, just squeeze him in there. Come on, make him say a funny line.
You think it's shoehorning some comedy?
I do feel like it is.
Yeah, and like, I totally get that. I totally understand that. I think there's even a point where he says to Hiller, he's like, "I'm sure Jasmine got out," but then nobody knows. No. And you're right. Like, all these dudes are like Hiller wasn't the only one called away from his family.
They all were.
They were all called away from their family. And then, like, you know, it's really funny when I was a kid. When you're a kid, you're sitting here and it's like, well, yeah, he's got to go, Jasmine. Duh. Like, he's a freaking hero because he's Will Smith.
Duh.
Hello. And she's like, he's like, why are you being like this? She says, why? That's why. It's like, he's got to go save the world, Jasmine.
It's Will Smith.
Duh, it's Will Smith.
Babe.
And then at this point, it's like, yeah,
I'm not
why
going
the
to work.
fuck are you leaving? Like, at this point, I think you go AWOL and you just say, come on, family, or you take them with you. There's no
immediately
question.
You all leave together for the base.
I understand that it's not like his family, right?
Yeah,
but they
doesn't
are
matter.
Together. They've been together a long time. You love them.
He doesn't have any
obviously.
friends.
He doesn't have any friends.
No.
He's looking at his neighbors and laughing at them because, you know, he thinks they're idiots, which they probably are.
All neighbors are.
But then you're just like, it's like, no, you don't say, why don't you come to the base? It's like, get your shit. We're going to the base.
We're going together.
I'll just be late a little bit.
But
Fine.
like, I do. It was kind of interesting to see this be like that kind of relationship. Be like, he has been with this woman for a while and her son, and he's been ingratiated with them a little bit. But then, like, at a moment's notice, when his job calls, he's just like, "Fuck all you guys."
Yeah.
Like, I'm leaving, which was kind of brutal, but it's also kind of like, I don't know. I've never
That's why
seen
he's
that
our
really.
hero.
I've never seen that really in movies where it's just like, no, this, you know what? And like then we find out he's like he was gonna break it off with her.
That's right. You do
know?
kind of hear that. It's like,
And
I
so
thought you were gonna end
it was more dynamic than I thought it should be. But I liked it about it. I will say that. But it is, you're right. In a joking way, it is brutal where he's just like, I'm going to go fly my plane.
Yeah.
You guys, good luck.
But
Sorry.
if he doesn't go fly his plane, if he goes AWOL, the whole entire world is devastated and destructed because
point.
he's the only reason that they get an alien to figure out what's going to happen to then figure out how to do a counterstrike. So if he goes AWOL, world's over.
I rescind the AWOL thing because that's why I say, like,
I would've.
you bring them with.
I'm a
to
coward. I would
degree.
have gone AWOL.
Okay.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
There ain't nobody looking out at a 15-mile wide spaceship being like, I better go try to fight them.
shoot, you know what? I have a fighter jet. I bet it could hurt that.
I'm sure.
15-mile wide.
Yeah,
ship.
that's just floating in the air with no sound. I'm sure our F-18s are going to be fine.
Dude, the fact that you just said
It's floating in the air with no noise.
It's just floating in the air with no sound. You're just like, dude, you're fucking right. These should be the
Do you know how loud a helicopter is?
These should be
A
the
helicopter
loudest
is like as big
things.
as this room.
These should be like vibrating our planet to the core.
Nope.
Holy
Imagine
shit.
if these were all propelled.
I think they're on strings.
What? You said you're leaving?
Why?
I really can't hear you.
Where are you going?
But even in this fact too, they send fighter planes to try and like test the spaceship.
Yeah.
You know, why send manned people or manned, fighter planes to go shoot rockets at this bitch other than just shoot rockets from a base to see like what happens. Like they're literally like kind of poking at the bear. It's like, what's going to happen? Like,
It already shot down a helicopter.
You're right.
Exactly. Like, what can we do? Like, we don't know we only know that they have shields because a human died. Like, all of these humans died because of it.
You have, it's LA, it's coastal cities. I mean, to a degree, right? LA, New York. These are all what we would consider East Coast, West Coast cities. So you take a submarine that has those like ballistic missiles that sends them up and can travel and attack within 6 feet from 1,000 miles away. That's what you do. You send those things up, right? You're right. Why did they do the manned
They sent
ships?
a fleet of F-18s.
Let's send it all.
Cost like $1 million a piece.
All coming from the same direction.
Yeah.
To where the aliens could see them coming. Just be like, there they are. Check all around us. Nope, they're all right there.
Are you sure? This seems idiotic.
A lot of times they attack from all angles.
I know, but check the other angles, guys. This seems too easy. This is the aliens, by the way. That it's like, no, these guys, I thought they were somewhat intelligent. This seems ridiculous.
This president clearly does not know what he's doing.
What the fuck's going on? You know what I mean?
He is pretty young.
There is
and
no
incompetent.
tactics. Well,
which young would
everybody
be
knows you got to be in your
welcome,
80s to be a good president.
It's true.
Everybody
it's true.
knows that.
well,
anyway,
he's a young he's a young president. What's the name of his wife? Marilyn.
Oh,
Is there a Kennedy thing going on
Hey.
here? Huh?
Okay.
Huh? Ooh, all right.
I'll tell you what, we get this like fighter pilot scene and all, and of course Will Smith's the only one to
History.
actually like survive it. But this is, I think if you give me one Will Smith moment to go like on his like, accomplishments, I think it's his freak out when he lands.
Oh yeah.
His parachute.
Oh yeah.
Like I think this whole thing from when he lands and goes over to the alien, he's like,
Who's the man?
Yeah,
Who's the
when the
man?
welcome to Earth, like I think this is the greatest Will Smith has ever been.
I agree.
I'm
with
just
you.
gonna throw that out there.
I'm with you. I even like his like. And what is that smell?
What the hell's that smell?
Apparently, it was like actually smelly.
And nobody
in the
told him?
Great Salt Desert or wherever the hell they
Yeah.
shot this.
Yeah.
There was like crabs that like
Yep.
decomposed over time, and like the wind was coming at them, and it was actually like
No kidding.
really smelly and weird.
See that's where we get, I think, some of the best moments in cinema. We talk about it all the time, lettuce moments, whatever you want to call them at this point, but we'll just call it a decomposing crab moment. But no, it's genius. The freak out, like he's exhausted, him getting out and like fighting his own parachute, opening that thing up, and just deciding to just punch the damn thing.
I hated seeing that alien when I was a kid, though.
Oh,
there was,
yeah.
it was the
Don't do
worst.
that. Don't do that.
The biomechanical like
Yep.
suit thing is worse than the aliens themselves.
Yep.
And you're just like, and that welcome to Earth with a
Earth.
hard F.
Earth.
Yep, is iconic.
It is.
And him, and you know what? Maybe this is why I just need to start smoking cigars, guys, because then I can just open it to him, and just go. Now that's what I call a close encounter. That's all you need when you have a cigar, is just a metal tube, and you can make any moment epic with a cigar like that.
And that's all
It's
you
great.
need when you have Will Smith.
I
Just
think
for
you're
him
right.
to come up with these lines, man. It's
Yeah,
so good.
It's so good.
Before we do scene 4, any guesses on the Jarrett Layoff Confused Breakfast actor database?
Who's
This is
got
a tough
the top
one.
spot?
This is a tough one. Of any movie we've done, what actor's been in the most movies we've done?
Is it the Baldwin?
No. So we got a couple at 3 here that are worth talking about. James Duvall. This was his third. He's one of Russell's kids. He's the oldest Russell kid. Donnie Darko. He was the boyfriend in Donnie Darko.
Oh, yeah.
James Duvall. Will Smith's third. Robert Loggia's third. Randy Quaid's third. But the clear-cut winner, we got a guy named Greg Collins. This is his 5th movie he's been in. He was a military general, and he's very much a typecast actor. He was military also in The Rock.
Yep.
He was a NASA guy in Armageddon. Yep. He was a prison guard in Con Air, and he was a cop in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Wow.
Just Greg Collins moving up our Mount Rushmore
Greg
list right
Collins.
now. Greg. We should find out another movie Greg's been in and add it to the list. And
Just put it on.
Hey, Greg Collins candle. Send us
That's right. Find us that candle. I dare you.
They're like, who? All right, so scene 4. Air Force One arrives at Area 51 and they begin examining Hitler's alien. It's still alive, kills a bunch of scientists before being destroyed. The president decides to launch a nuclear attack, but it's unsuccessful. Jasmine finds the First Lady alive and they're rescued by Hiller in a helicopter. First Lady dies at Area 51. David comes up with a plan to use an old alien spaceship to implant a virus to the mothership. Hiller agrees to pilot the ship.
This Dr. Dr. Okun.
Brent Spinner.
Okun, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, is like if you had to like put a lineup of people in Area 51, be like, which one of these guys is the guy? Be like, it's that guy.
That guy.
The guy with the long, unkempt, crazy white hair with a 9 o'clock shadow. It's that guy.
It's got to be the classic, just like, who's in charge here? Oh, there he is. That's all.
Hey, Okun, come over here.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, they're also saying like how he is. This is our main research area. This is a clean area, and they're like, no, open it up. And then, by the way, from the opposite side. Then Brent Spiner, another guy, walked through in the fucking like Arby's stained shirts. And you're just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, oh yeah, clean area. Thanks a lot, Major. Fuck.
This guy's the best. This guy's my lovable face. 100%.
I think
Okun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Dr. Okun or whatever. He's so great.
Spiner. I think. Do you say it's Spinner?
Spiner.
I
Yeah.
always called him Brent Spiner. Star Trek stuff like that. But
kind of cool that he was like the scientist in this.
He was also in Resurgence, but he clearly died in this one.
They make sure to say coma in this one.
I don't know, man.
They said coma.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
Well, I'm just saying. I think this is a role that he was just kind of born to play. This is a perfect role for him. I think, and he's kind of hidden away well. He's very much different from Data.
They don't let us out much.
No, they don't let us out much. You can imagine. Okay, yeah, you are
it's
weird.
It's very exciting. Exciting times.
Exciting. People are dying out there.
It's kind of the. Never mind.
Well,
it's very exciting for us.
Well,
we don't know anything.
I told you they don't let us out. I didn't know anyone was dying. Okay, my bad. Fuck.
As a kid, I didn't know that they had this alien ship this whole time. I just thought like they captured them their own. And I'm like, this time around, I'm like, oh wow, this is like it's this and MIB. I'm just like, wow, this kind of goes back. This kind of related with like Area 51 and obviously everything like that. I just thought that was a really cool thing where I just didn't notice it at the time as a kid, where that they had this thing and they've been studying it for a while, and like kind of goes to show, it's like, oh, we knew this might be coming. Who knows? Like, do you guys think that like this might be coming?
Yeah, I agree, but I also don't like how they imply that the president doesn't know about this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like that aspect of this movie. Be like, well, that's not exactly true, Mr. President.
With rap horn.
Yeah, like why would
words.
they know about it, but the fucking president doesn't get to know about it?
Let's be honest, guys. There's a whole book of things that the president just gets handed to him, like some sort of ledger in Harry Potter that has like everything that's wrong and weird in the world.
Here are the things we're lying about. Here are the things that we've never told anyone.
So keep lying about this. This one's actually coming up,
we
for
will
renewal,
tell them,
but we're probably going to talk about that
we
soon.
We might.
And then this one, and this one. Don't look at those pages, actually.
Here's who killed Kennedy. This is how we fixed that problem. You will not be killed. Like they worked them all out, and they give him the book on day one.
Exactly. Like he's
the president.
He's the president. The problem is and they try to wrap it up pretty quick. Plausible deniability. It's like that doesn't make any sense for the president.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Because guess what? If he would have known about this from the start, he would have evacuated all the cities.
Yeah.
The moment that and Robert Loggia's character just says it straight up. The moment they showed up, or we had any sort of reading about this, you should have brought this to the table, and that's why you're a sniveling piece of shit.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. I mean, he's.
If we were on a train to go punch a face, I'm on board.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's my punchable face, right?
I mean, it is because of his comment at the end, right before he gets fired. But then at the same time, it's the other two dudes in the diner that do the interview. They abused him sexually. And then you just have other guys just like,
I like those guys.
He told me that, so I believe it.
Listen, you got to ask yourself, who would you want to sit down and have a beer with? And it's not Rebhorn. It's these guys. Well,
I'm lumping the Secretary of Defense Rebhorn in with just the entire White House staff.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Even Constance.
It's just incompetent all the time.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what happens. They're not heroes in my mind, no matter how Hollywood portrays them. I don't give a shit about them. They can all fucking go to waste, and I don't give a shit. Nothing will ever change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, we didn't actually talk much about Harvey Fierstein, though, either.
No. He didn't last long.
He didn't last long.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, crap. David! Oh my God!
I have to call my mother.
The literal perfect guy they could have had.
He's the
in that
best.
scene. Yeah.
You call my hairdresser. You call my lawyer.
Come on there.
I forget about my lawyer.
Apparently, he said "fuck my lawyer,"
fuck
and
my
they
lawyer.
changed it. They're
Okay.
like, "No, we got to stay PG-13."
It should have stayed that way. No, I agree. The whole White House staff, but I don't know. Rebhorn deserves it to a degree. It's that moment where he says, like, I know you're upset about your wife's death and stuff. Oh, Mr. President. But this is no time to overreact. It's like, dude, fuck you, bro. Like,
When the nuclear bomb hits, he goes, "Oh, a direct hit!"
okay.
All right, we did it.
This is
No.
my favorite thing is to think that there was some sort of hidden direction in this, that the director went up and only told him that everyone is going to exclaim about victory and a direct hit, and then he tells everyone, it's like, no, nobody say anything after this happens, and he just jumps up out of his seat.
Yeah!
It's like, what an idiot!
He looks like an idiot.
Fell for it, fucking idiot.
But before this, this is the scene where they get the alien kind of escapes. This was pure nightmare fuel.
This
dude.
is terrifying.
I hated this as a kid. It wasn't so much like bad as an adult, but it's still pretty scary when that thing says, what do you want from us? Die. I don't like that at all. But also, like, don't worry, Mr. President. No peace. Don't worry, Mr. President. That's a lockdown room specifically made for containment of dangerous hostile aliens. Is it bulletproof?
No.
We didn't account for that.
Aliens can't shoot guns.
Not a lot of people come down here. Is like what we're saying. Is like not a lot of people bring their guns, and not a lot of people can leave. These people have been here for like ages and ages and ages.
Yeah, no. That glass is made out of candied sugar. Yeah, it's real easy to break.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's fun
Turns
when it
out
does.
aliens hate sugar. Yeah. So that's why it is. That's basic plate
Except for the
glass.
I thought they loved it.
I don't know. You would think, right? I don't know. It's super crazy.
Well, he's like, can we try and negotiate? After they've leveled every major city in your country, let's try and negotiate with these people.
Dude, you're turning me on President Bill Pullman. We all think about him with his speech, how great of a president he is. I think he's one of the worst presidents we've seen.
There's a lot of decisions in this where I'm just like, ugh. Like a lot of it he didn't know, but like, I don't know.
He made these moments, guys, where like he has these moments where, like I say, on Air Force One, he's talking about it. And he's like, I had the opportunity. We could have evacuated. We had the time. They could have said something. We could have evacuated them hours before we actually did. And he's going back and forth, and he is really struggling with this. And that's what kind of makes him redeemable. The problem is by this time, Chicago wasn't even on like the initial list of cities of the world. By now, Chicago, Atlanta, there were other cities being listed that have already been
Cedar
destroyed.
Rapids, Iowa.
Cedar Rapids. Well, fortunately, Cedar Rapids, Iowa is like, oh God. Well, this was a lot easier than we thought. Other aliens. What else even is there? There's a place called Cedar Rapids. Yeah, Cedar Rapids. I think I'm saying that the right way.
They call it a flyover state. Zed.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why we missed it on our way in.
Yeah.
I guess let's do it. I mean, we got nothing else to do. These are the Marines. These are like the Marines who are just like, let's go shoot our guns and helicopter guns at freaking, like cows. Like that's what these other aliens. That's who they send to take care of Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
And that's the story that I want to see.
Yes.
Well, funny enough, Sean, that's who ended up getting caught by Captain Hiller. Okay, is he was just he couldn't let it go. He chased some guy off. He's like, no way, I'm gonna get my kill. Like Jarhead, basically. I'm gonna get my kill. And this alien ends up going and chasing Hiller down, gets caught, and he's the reason that the alien race fails.
It's fun watching these disaster movies because literally none of them affect Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
I do remember
Ever.
coming
Yeah.
out of the theater thinking like I was scared that this was going to happen, but I'm like, well, at least we're going to have a little bit of time.
We're good.
Mike's like
we're
thank
gonna-
God I'm not in St. Louis anymore.
St. Louis would still be pretty low on the list. Still pretty low on the list, man.
Increments
they're killing
of 15.
They're killing themselves over there.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's nice to look back on this movie because we gave and continue to give so much shit to a guy like M. Night Shyamalan for a movie like Signs, where we're like, it was so good until that ridiculous plot. Water kills him. This guy doesn't know how to write a movie. This guy sucks. And then I go back and watch Independence Day, and the fucking solution is to take a computer to the mothership and put a virus inside of it.
But try and nuke them first.
Well, nuke them as well, but
Yeah.
but we don't know. Like, try to nuke them, but then put this computer virus into a spaceship that has been traveling the universe with floating technology to put a 15-mile wide spaceship above the ground in your city with zero noise or gravitational effect. We're just going to take like a weird little virus and put it into their system.
Well,
And we said, you're so cool. We love this movie.
can we just talk about like I don't even know that there's like really Wi-Fi that's very prominent. No, the solution, Mike, you're right. The solution is the internet in 1996.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah.
That's the solution. Like, he didn't have a Wi-Fi password for that ship.
There's
Come on.
there's not even Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
What cables did they use to connect into the mothership?
Yeah.
Are you telling me this alien spaceship has like USB 2?
This is where we got Wi-Fi. Oh, this is where, guys.
They went up there and they went, and they're like, what does that symbol mean?
Oh my god.
Oh, it's like a
They
thing.
explained it to us. Like, this satellite bounces off that one. And
Oh, that's how
simple.
satellites work.
Yeah.
I mean, you did see like the diagram in where when he's explaining like shoot the can off of the and there's the diagram that it shows like the ships, and then there's like planet Earth, and you're like, it didn't have to be that accurate of a picture of the planet Earth, like that somebody decided to draw and that kind of shit. But you're right. It's just like the solution to all of this is a picture that bounces radio waves off of satellites.
I believe this guy. I think he's pretty smart.
You know what? He's showing us things that in Area 51 we've never even thought of.
Oh, this guy is so smart that he tells the guy to shoot the shield, and it literally ricochets around the thing with the president in the room.
Kids.
All of these important people, probably the most important people that will save the earth because no one else can because America has to do it.
Yeah.
And you know what? He could have easily been like, hey, everybody, you know how we know there's a shield on this thing? Everybody knows that already? We've seen that
You
in
guys
real
know,
life.
right?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're gonna take it off.
We're gonna
Do here. Okay, now shoot the can. Like, that's literally all he had to do.
Why don't we just do the with
or
all
just,
the other ships?
and go, look, we can shoot the can.
Yeah. Why can't we do that? Why can't we do it that way? Well, since you just did it to this one, like I know you're talking about from like the host and the mothership, and then that'll affect all the other like smaller ships. But I feel like it would actually happen in reverse order as well, because if you affect one, then it's going to get all the other ones. It's going to pass to the other ones because this one's obviously affected by all the things. Brent Spiner tells us.
He tells us
that the moment the mothership showed up, it started affecting the ship they've had in captivity for 50, 60, whatever, how many years. And so that means if he's affecting that one, he must be affecting the other ones. That's the logic of it, unless I'm way off base, obviously. I'm not a biomechanical engineer, rocket scientist. Come on.
Nah, bro.
I'm just saying. But you're right. Like the fact that, nope, we need to make a dangerous mission, sneak in, and then we need to plant this virus with the Jolly Roger thing.
The thought too of the fact that this alien spaceship's like 50 years old.
Yeah.
The thought that this advanced alien race does not upgrade their fighters like we do cars. They're like, no, we just keep the same one.
Dude, that's what.
We're so up
That's
to
what I'm
date.
saying.
We
We
never
just
need
keep the same
to
one.
re-update.
This one shows up. It was obviously
It's an old model.
It's an old model,
Dude,
and they don't offer that paint color anymore.
It's a car from the 50s
You're
that
right.
pulls into a garage.
Yeah.
Like it pulls up to the Daytona 500. Be like, I'm here to race.
That's a
what?
Jesus, that's a 1952 Star Bouncer. That doesn't make sense. And then that's when the aliens is like, wait a second.
They really don't make those anymore. We need that back
Wait a
up
second.
here.
They don't offer that in cobalt blue anymore. Wait a
That could go for a
second.
lot of money in Suburban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute here. And he clicks all around. And then he's like, I knew it. They put leather seats in the thing. Those things only had cloth back then. And then that's when he finds out. And like this is the dead giveaway, right? And that's the upsetting part to me, I think, is like, well, this old ship. And how long is a light year? Like in Earth years?
Yeah.
So was this like 6 months to the aliens?
It was a light year away? No, it was just in our atmosphere. It was just hanging
however
out.
many ships or however many I don't know.
Oh, I see what
from
you're
when
saying.
they
Yeah, who
traveled that
knows?
way. So that's my thing. It's like maybe from the 50s up to 1996. Maybe it was just like 6 months for these aliens. That they're
It
just
might
like,
have been.
yeah, whatever.
Literally, all these people, these aliens just came back to Earth.
They're not people.
To get their to get their 50 Chevy Nova.
Yeah, they did.
That's all this movie is about.
I think you're right.
And to properly bury their fallen comrades.
Yeah.
And watch Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
They're just like,
That was sick.
All right, final scene. The military gets volunteers to fight, and Russell is one of them. The president joins as well and gives a memorable speech. Hiller and Levinson successfully reach the mothership and implant the virus. The shields are down, but the missiles are not doing enough damage. Russell kamikazes his jet and destroys one of the ships. They spread the word to the rest of the world. The ships start going down. Hiller and David destroy the alien mothership and barely escape, returning to Earth as heroes.
The mom dies. It's kind of fine. That our cute thing was like we lie at each other and it's all cool. But
liar.
I don't know. I think she was fine. I think she's kind of a waste of character in this, to be honest.
It didn't need to be
Yeah,
there.
it's kind of a bummer.
Let's save her to have her die.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Like I understand like the middle part of this, like how this kind of builds the story together, so characters do come together, so they can then pretty much meet everyone else in the end. Jasmine finding her, and then they go to Area 51. I get it, but those kind of storylines always upset me because they seem to always fizzle out.
Sure, but I do like it in the fact that there are people out there in this movie that are dying, and I do care about them. Like Harry Connick Jr., I am made to care about, and so like Will Smith's reaction when he dies, I feel, and like every other human character in like a plane or whatever, like that guy in the building who just gets blown away. You know, it's just like holy shit, humans are dying. And that is impactful to me. I really do feel that when they portray that in this movie. What do you guys think about that? I like that about this movie a lot.
Like just the feeling of when somebody goes, they
or
go.
do you feel that at all?
I definitely feel it. Personally, I definitely feel it because you see a lot of, especially at this point when they're calling everybody into the base. When at this point they have that whole nomad caravan like thing going on outside of Area 51, and they're calling everybody in. It's like we need to get all these people in. Like they're getting shot at, and I mean, even through that, I think they do a very good job of showing a lot of faces.
Yeah.
Rather than the norm, I think is more often faceless death. In these types of cataclysmic just horrible events.
It's like, oh, that guy in the F-18 was blown out of the sky. But like we see the POV of him, kind of like Star Wars.
Exactly.
Ish. Where it's just like there's fire and then they show the engulfed plane,
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was impactful, and I thought it was really just like, oh shit, shocking as far as a disaster alien movie goes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, we talk a lot about how the President Bill Pullman, I'm just going to call him that, I think he was portrayed to be a better president than he was. You know, I don't think he really made a lot of the right choices in this movie. I think he could have prevented a lot more death. I think he could have reacted better as president of the United States and really the world, if you want to talk about it that way. But is this the greatest presidential speech of all time?
Yes. I think it's straight up, watching this again gave me chills. I still think it might be one of the best speeches, and not even just presidential speeches, just speeches in cinema history. I think that it's still effective. I think the way that's delivered from Bill Pullman is extremely like patriotic, as far as patriotic can get, as far as that runs in your bones, however that means to you. I think it's extremely effective, and I do agree that it's maybe one of the top 5 like speeches ever in cinema.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning, being July 4th, and I'm going to listen to this speech before I get up and do stuff. Before I get up and shoot off fireworks and annoy all my neighbors.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We're going to survive. We're
Gonna
going
live on.
Live on. I agree. I do agree it's a great speech. Unfortunately, if the president doesn't know how to properly utilize one of those little, CB radio
radios.
things, did you see what happened? He had it backwards.
Oh,
That's what fucking happened. The first, good morning. Good morning. And that's what happened. I watched him switch it around in his hands.
It's pretty good.
And I was like,
Again, not the greatest president, but he's a good talker.
you know what? You've got it. You've got it going on.
There was a fact, though, that speech was actually filmed in front of an old airplane hangar that once housed Enola Gay, which dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima 50 years earlier. It was filmed on the exact same day, 50 years earlier. Interestingly, the crowd was not scripted to start cheering, but Bill Pullman's delivery of the speech was so good they started applauding and cheering.
one of our greatest achievements.
Yeah.
Killing
Pretty cool.
all those people, man.
Now we're gonna kill aliens.
Yeah, we really did it, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
you guys see the resemblance?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Right, guys?
We're about ready to kill 10 billion aliens.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Ugh. No, you know what? It's a great moment. But how do you say it? Either, I can't remember which one was first, I guess, at this point. But it's basically Air Force One, but the planet is Air Force One. Get off my plane.
Yeah.
Get off my rock.
Yes.
That's basically it.
I think delivered better
Yeah.
than Harrison Ford could do it.
Yep.
It's definitely better. I think it's better than Harrison Ford could have delivered at that time in, well,
Different circumstances. Yeah.
But yes, I agree with you.
What about the trip for Will Smith and everybody to get up to use the alien spaceship? Like, again, it's too comical for me at times, where it's like, this is a really serious, you're like our only remaining hope to save the world. And we're making jokes about oops and like flying. Well, by the way, Will Smith says, yeah, I've seen one of those before, so I'm qualified to fly it.
I've seen how these things, I see how they maneuver.
That's not how that works.
Nope.
You know what? I've flown in airplanes before. Yeah. I could probably fly a plane, right?
Oh, see,
I've watched a plane fly through the air. I could fly that.
That's
not how that works.
This is the equivalent of being like, I could fucking do that. That's fucking easy to do. He fucking wrecked it. He wrecked it. What an idiot.
But
Just
he's like
eating Cheetos from the couch.
He's doing like flips and spins and they're just like having a grand old time. It's like he's like, I've been dreaming of this moment forever. It's okay. Remember how like we're trying to save the world here, guys, and how this is not going to work. This is the worst plan in history. But let's have some jokes and talk about the fat lady singing and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Oh,
Yeah.
I need
I don't
cigars.
care. None of this matters to me. None of that matters to me. I buy all of it. And I just want to see him have a good time.
You want to see him have a good time because this is their last moment being alive, because they're not going to make it through this.
That plays effect into it as well, because like, what else are we going to fucking do? Like, we tried nuking them. That's our greatest power that we have. That's our greatest defense mechanism that we have on planet Earth, you know? What the fuck else are we going to do? He has this stupid nerd shit that he's going to try and do. Fuck it, let's go. Like, what else are we going to do?
Fucking nerds.
Fucking nerd shit. I guess let's just go and do that. I also like that they say, oh, the Americans, they've got a plan. And then we get the most the most absolute, I don't know, quintessential, like, English person. It's about bloody time. What do they intend to do? It's just like, all right.
That's Jim Paddock.
Let's load our muskets and go get these fellas.
Put on your red coats, gentlemen.
We're taking back America. I mean, we're saving the world.
Yeah.
That's Jim Paddock. Did you recognize him at all?
I didn't.
The thing I most know him for is he was like the official like commentator on Best in Show. He was like the really fancy one where the guy kept going, so what do you like? What do you look for? Do you see the dogs running around? He's like, well, yeah, you know, you judge a lot of things. He's like, yeah. You know, I mean, like, he's just so fucking funny. I saw him right away. I was like, I love you.
He's just over there yelling "Tally ho, gents" a bunch.
Yes, exactly.
And then you got the Russians who, let's put them in striped shirts because they've got, you know, they're Russian. But I just really want to think about these aliens and their starcrafts and how they're just so freaking massive. And we kind of get into the interior, right? Mm-hmm. Think about how big like those doors are that they have to kind of fly through, and especially at the end when they're like closing up. And think about how massive and wide they are. That would imply that somebody's like the size of those things implies one of two things. Either there's people who just have an apartment inside that door.
All the lights. Yeah,
like
all
those
stuff,
lights. Or it means that these aliens are very technologically advanced, but they're actually so bad at building things. They're just like, I don't know how to shave this down. Let's just make it a big-ass fucking thing. That the walls are just massive. There's not really much functionality to these massive starships. It's just the fact that they're just massive, like, pieces of thing moving through the air.
Yeah.
That's basically what this is implying. In my mind, unless somebody is in fact living in every little piece, every single, you see a light, and it's like a cityscape. That's it.
You got to humanize these goons. When that ship pulls up, I like to picture that alien that was in that control of this one little area, that like he's kind of on overtime for the week.
Yeah.
Like his shift's about to end so he can finally go on the
Yeah.
like he's not a military guy. He's just sitting here. He's like he's gonna have the weekend off.
Yep.
Him and his wife are gonna go up to the North Quadrant.
Yep.
Just take a little time off, but he's got this long overtime week. Man, if I could just check in this final plane, you know, this final spaceship.
This is it.
And this is the one that fucking blows up
He's
their
like,
It
entire
was
race.
4:58. It was 4:58 on a Friday for this guy, and that's what. And he's like, all right, I think I can shut down. All right, that should be good.
Wait, what the hell?
Oh, fucking God.
Well, one more isn't going to really bother me. Hey, Zeev Zave, what's up, guys? Hey, you guys need a little rotary girder change?
Yeah, dude.
Well, I'm
Jesus.
just gonna check some things on your ship here.
Yeah, I'll let these guys in.
How you guys doing? You guys exterminate some human scum down there? That was good. That was
Cool.
good. You guys did a good job.
Oh,
Okay,
man,
we'll get you fixed up here
Wait
soon,
a minute,
all
this
right?
is the old 1950s model. I should tell my if I bring my supervisor over here, then we're just going to be stuck in paperwork.
It's just going to be more
swear to
questions that I
you
don't
know
have
what?
the answers
It's
to.
fine. Their things are closed. Their shields are closed. Well, it's fine.
They
It's
pulled
fine.
into an alien gas station that is essentially with a 1952 classic model.
Yeah.
That's what raised a few hairs.
There's
It was
a
just
bell
like,
that rang when they pulled up.
Yeah, exactly. Ding, ding. And this guy was waiting to go on. He's the equivalent of the guy filing papers in the office building beforehand.
Yes.
That's what this guy is. Unfortunate soul. Yep, you're right.
Well, and then obviously they get through. I'll tell you what. Of all the stuff that did look good in this movie, these final explosions are pretty bad. The spaceship themselves.
Yeah.
This is real bad, and it's like fine. We're at the end of the movie. It's fine. I mean, like that's the one thing that didn't really hold up for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm already bought in.
Yeah, it's like it's fine.
And like everything else has looked good, in which I think the filmmakers were kind of banking on. Just
Yeah,
to, like,
but who cares?
juxtapose these practical things with the computer stuff. It's like, yeah, you've never seen this before because it's 1996 or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I didn't. It didn't bother me really, but.
Get past the explosion. They're walking dick first.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say.
Russell in this scene too. I really think this is like one of the best character sends off
Oh yeah.
in cinema history. Where it's just, hello boys, I'm back. Like it. I don't know how could like I got chills during that as much as I did during Bill Pullman's speech.
Yeah.
it's great.
I didn't, man. Like I just laughed. I was like, this is not supposed to be fucking funny. Like, and he's just like,
I don't know, man. I got pretty choked up because because he's sitting there and he looks down at his kids, and he didn't have to do this necessarily, but at the same time, he just kind of understands what's going on, and then he's got the last missile.
then do it somberly, be like,
tell my kids I love them,
and then just so you want him to be like, hello, boys.
No, well, fucking listen. Okay,
I'm
back.
He's not talking to anyone. They can't hear him, and he's so fucking dumb that he salutes the president on the radio. He can't even see the president. He just goes, "Hello, Mr. President." You're like, where? He's not even near you.
He's crazy.
He's
nuts.
crazy, man.
No. Randy Quaid cannot play any. He's Cousin Eddie, and he cannot be any sort of serious actor to me moving forward.
They sent
Watch
things
his 1970s movies.
No.
You will beg to differ.
They sent things up his beehole, and now he's sending his whole plane and everything up their beehole.
Yeah, that's not funny.
That's what's going on. Yeah, because he's sacrificing himself, Michael.
Yeah.
For the American people.
For the
the American people.
Don't worry. This is so great,
because
guys.
of Nam.
We defeated the aliens. It's so great. But don't worry, like we did shoot off a nuclear bomb that completely destroyed Texas. We're gonna have to kind of deal with the fallout for that for a long time. I think pretty much half the globe's population's gone to this. This might be kind of nice, actually. Like, to bring down the strain on the earth. But I'm sure that there's still a lot of alien spaceships that have crashed onto the ground, and now those aliens are going to get out and start fighting us. It's fine. Everything's cool. We're going to celebrate. We're going to smoke some cigars. We are happy. We saved the world.
See all that debris that's falling as we dissolve into the credits? Yeah, a lot of that's going to fall onto us and probably kill a lot of people as well.
What are we going to do with
Everyone's
these spaceships?
already dead. It's all good.
You got to think, if they've destroyed... Robert Lowe's just says that based on the trajectory of how these cities are being destroyed, it's going to be 36 hours total before they have eliminated essentially every major city in the world. That's how fast this is happening. And at that point, if they have destroyed... let's say now we would probably say 50. So let's think they destroyed probably 30%, 40%, probably more of the world population at this point.
It's
right?
It's a happy moment.
I think we could celebrate this.
Yeah, I think we could celebrate that. Start over, man.
And now we know how to bring them down. Tell the world.
Tell the
Well,
world.
first of all, you gotta have a guy who was he says he was abducted and then persecuted and called crazy for the exact same thing, and he's got to drive up the blue light weapon thing that they have,
Right.
and then as soon as they like shoot down the weapon, he's got to be right there with one missile in hand, and that's how you bring them down.
And tell them that on SOS. They'll figure it out.
Yeah,
or on Morse code.
If they have a family of 3, it's like extra points.
Yeah, no wife, please.
Yeah.
Please,
It'd
and
be
thank you.
awesome.
And it'd be cool if it was like a white guy that did it.
Please.
That'd probably be super cool.
That'd probably be best.
Yeah.
Yeah, we basically what we do. Or you can also just say, hey, we destroyed the mothership, so all the shields should be down. You guys should just attack it well. That's fucking it.
Cool.
That's it. We don't know how to take them down.
Save your
We just-
missiles.
Yeah. We just shoot a lot at them. I guess that's pretty much what it takes, guys.
World peace.
World peas.
Well, boys, we have dissected this movie with a modern eye. It is time to give it a modern day rating. Sean, let's start with you, man. What do you got to say about this?
I want to hear what you have to say first.
You want to hear what I have to say about it?
Yes.
I'm very glad we went back and did this. I'm so pumped that I have not watched this movie in a long time. Like, as we've said, the last 4 years, we've purposely not watched movies because we knew we would get to it.
Yes.
This was one of them. I knew we would get there. I'm glad we're doing it around the 4th of July. I love this time of year. I love these summer blockbuster movies. This was a scary movie for me when I first saw it, but it was like awesome action. Modern day, I still feel the same way about it. It's not as scary, but it's also not as good as I thought it was, but it's still so much fun though. The problem for me being that we just got off of 4 movies in a row that were 90 minutes long. And it was awesome. And then when I popped this one, I went, fuck, 2.5 hours. Jesus Christ. Like, I already kind of went into it a little bit negative. I would have told you in the year 2000, I would have ranked Independence Day above Men in Black. I'm flip-flopping. Men in Black for me is better than Independence Day. So I'm going to give it a very solid, respectable 7.1 is what I'm going to give it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that this movie is extremely entertaining still. I think that it's one of the best like disaster movies of all time that we have, especially from this director and writer duo, Roland Emmerich and Dave Devlin. I think it's Dave Devlin.
Yes.
Dean Devlin. Yeah, I really think that like the character breakdowns, especially like we get to see this whole disaster through the eyes of the characters, and I think that's how you should tell movies like this is through the eyes of the characters, and like you want to relate to the characters, you want to feel for the characters, you want to know them, and you kind of want to revisit them, hopefully, or relate to them somehow. I think that is the formula for a movie like this. Is like you invest emotionally into the characters, and everything else is just like a spectator kind of thing, like a spectacle. Like, wow, I've never seen this kind of shit before on screen. I like that about it a lot, and I do think the writing is a little underrated. I think it doesn't make me feel like it's 2 hours and a 2 hour and a half movie at all. I really do have a good time throughout the whole of this movie. Certain things here and there, like even Bill Pullman's performance, kind of pulls me out of it a little bit. Especially after his wife, or like after he gets like the mind buzz thing from the alien. He's like, I love Bill Pullman. I will watch him in anything. Right. I just think it was a little lackluster. Some of it pulls me out. I have a great time with this movie, and I'll watch it any Independence Day. 7.8.
7.8 for Sean. AJ, what about you, man?
This is tough because I think I have to kind of echo what you were saying there, Mike. And I didn't realize it at the time, maybe why, but it was very tough to just kind of make it through this movie. I really had to force myself to sit down. This wasn't a movie to watch in any sort of passing or with other distractions going on. It was one that I needed to really sit and be able to focus on. It was kind of tough to get through here and there. But when I did finally sit down and get to watch through it, I enjoyed it. I think it was a great action flick, and I really do. Like I said, kind of near the beginning, they don't waste a lot of time. They really get into the damn thing. You know, that's what they do. And I think that they move through this very well, even though it is a 2 hour movie. I think that the movement is strong enough. There's a lot of points that I just feel like. It just seems like there's a lot of big explosions for like very small solutions, I guess. And like sometimes that takes me out of it, especially when it's just like, tell them how we destroy the bastards and you shout it from the rooftops. And that's like just going back to Morse code. But it's, Morse code has never seemed so cool, I guess. I don't know. I think it's a fun movie. I think it's an amazing Will Smith performance. I really do like Jeff Goldblum. Could easily replace him with Nick Cage. Not in a bad way. I'm not saying that in a bad way, Jeff. I promise you. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a movie that I want to watch around the holiday itself. And that being said, I don't know that I can give that then much more. Man, I don't know. I can give that much more than a 6.7 is what's ringing in my head.
6.7 for age. We got to go to executive producer Bud Larsen. He says, I found this movie and watched it on Hulu. I didn't remember probably the first 10 minutes of the movie. There were bits and pieces from this movie that I completely forgot about. It was funny to see all the old tube TVs and the bad reception they had back then. When the alien ship destroyed the Empire State Building in New York City and the White House still gave me goosebumps. The longer I watched, more and more of the movie came back to me. I am glad I was able to rewatch this. Most punchable face, Albert Nimzicki, Secretary of Defense. We agree with you. Prop from the movie, this is a good one, would be Russell Case's fighter helmet. I think that's a good.
That's a good
pop
one.
That up on the wall right there.
I don't think we did props.
Did we?
We did not.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you want to do it real quick? This is officially our longest episode.
No.
Here we go.
Ooh, here's a prop.
Fruitopia vending machine. Thank you very much.
Well done.
I want a Fruitopia vending machine in our room.
Yeah.
One of the alien ectoskeletons, whatever.
Ectoskeletons. I want the dolphin ring.
Fuck yeah. Because, they're going to get divorced here.
Yeah, just give me that thing.
Because he's still not going to be able to go to Manasseh. So, yeah. So, Bud is higher than all of us. Bud says modern day rating 8.3. That takes us to a 7.48 for this movie. And that's going to land it tied with Face Off in the 74th position.
Damn.
That's how she's going to land.
All
74th best movie we've done. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for being here. Tune in next week for Friday, followed by Adam's Family Values, which was our summer camp Patreon selection. They voted on it. We're going to do it. And if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year, Back to the Future 2.
Wow. Well, guys, we got Friday coming up, but we aren't going to be releasing it on a Friday. It's going to be the normal Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're going to be doing Friday on a Wednesday, so just keep that in mind. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Check us out on YouTube. We're here in the studio hanging out, so come hang out with us. Give us a 5-star on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Give us 5 stars. Write us a review. We love reading them. And by all means, follow us on social media. Lots of fun things happening on social media. You'd love to hate our theories. So we love to love you back. Do that. Confused Breakfast anywhere on social media.
ConfusedBreakfast.com to see the merch that we have. You can buy some shirts. You can buy some koozies. You can get some stickers. You can get some hoodies. You can get some spaceships. You can get some ectoskeletons, whatever the hell they're called. You can get whatever there. ConfusedBreakfast.com as well to see the ratings of the movies that we have covered. You can see AJ's ratings. You can see Mike's ratings. You can see my ratings and the show's ratings overall. Goodbye. Godspeed. I love you.
Produced by Logan at Upload Media Group. Learn more at uploadmediagroup.com. Yeah, we are on the Cloud 10 iHeart Podcast Network. Learn more at cloud10.fm. That's it for us. Goodbye.
Deuces.
Peace. Peace.
Peace.